Testing. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Are we all here?
We got it.
Hey!
Some technical difficulties.
That's okay. We figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
We should touch on the Nathan MacKinnon signing out of the gates. And I have a question. Do you think that McDavid or that Nathan MacKinnon specifically asked to be the highest paid player in the NHL?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I base that on nothing at all other than just my own gut feeling, but I find it very interesting that it's where they settled, where they landed was $100,000 more than McDavid. Like, that's no accident.
I know people that'll do that. Like, I just want to make more than that person. Like,
exactly. It's like they did
I actually have a
Price is
story.
Right rules essentially.
Yeah.
And yeah, just $100,000 more than McDavid. I mean, everybody knows who the best player is, but hey, for Nathan MacKinnon, he just won the cup, just had a great year. Go secure the bag, my friend. I don't begrudge him at all.
I worked in a building one time where one of the managers told me that one of the employees said, I don't care what you pay me as long as you pay me more than everybody else. He legitimately said that out loud. That's the arrogance of some people in radio. It's disgusting. So this does not surprise me. It surprises me that, because my image of Nathan MacKinnon is the guy that's at the window at Tim's getting Timbits, right? It's not this. And somebody another sports donkey said that this wasn't his lawyers or his agent or any of that. This was him going, I want you to make sure I make more money than McDavid because I beat him last year.
I agree. Like, again, I don't have anything to base it on, but I'm going to buy that hook, line, and sinker. I just think that knowing or reading about Nathan MacKinnon and how driven he is and how competitive he is and how he gets annoyed when his teammates eat sugar during the season, like, of course he wanted to be paid more than McDavid. That's why I think it's like, it wasn't that he came in at $13 million or $13.5. It's just that it's $100,000 more than McDavid, and I find that hilarious.
It's awesome.
It's just a little bit of a right. One of those.
I mean, but like, in 4 years when Connor renews, he's going to blow that out of the water.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enjoy your $100,000 extra. But I found it very funny, Locke. It's just one of those things
It's
where
very entertaining.
the competitive nature of people it's just that, like you said, that little twist, just a little twist.
True colors
I love it.
shining through.
are you also one of the people confused by the Jake Virtanen PTO?
Yeah, I am. And it's for a couple of reasons. One, I don't understand why, just in terms of the player. Put it this way, Grant. Nail Yakupov scored quite a few more points than Jake Virtanen in the KHL last year. So
That's the thing. He's not even a good player. Like,
that's what I don't understand. It's just like, what if you asked 100 Oilers fans right now, do you want to bring back Nail Yakupov because you think he could help? Most of them would be like, what are you talking about? Well, the guy that they just brought in had fewer points than Yak last year. So it's like, I get it. He's big. He's fast. He's a right winger. The Oilers are a little bit shy on the right side, but like, I don't really understand it. I don't get.
Does he stand a chance of making the team? Like,
Sure. Who knows? Like,
I
I have no idea really like how far he could take this PTO or if this is just going to be like a springboard to trying to get back into the NHL, but he probably does have a chance. Otherwise the Oilers wouldn't have brought him in. I mean, if you look at the right side of the depth chart, he could probably grind out a spot there, but for me, I just don't understand it at all. Like I said, when you're getting outscored by Nail Yakupov, a guy who just is renowned as a bust in the NHL, I just don't really get it.
I think there's a certain amount of pride from this organization, from the Oilers, that they're good with difficult players or something. And I think that this is just another example of, you know what? We've done this before. We've done it a couple of times now. Let's try it again and see, because it actually has paid off a bit. I mean, the Evander Kane thing.
yeah, it did pay off.
Right. Maybe this is that hubris, that ego on that side of things. No.
Sure. It 100% could be. I'm not going to pretend to understand what the organization is doing or thinking, but just for me as a fan perspective and a guy who covers the team, I just thought it was a little bit confusing is all.
Yeah.
Speaking of the team, do you think Dylan Holloway makes this roster?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
I've been saying this for the last couple of months. I think that he's going to force his way in. I know that success at the rookie camp, like the rookie tournament that just happened in Penticton, isn't necessarily a good indicator of what happens in the NHL, but Holloway dominated that tournament when he was playing. So I think that he's big, he's fast, he's got some hands, he can score. I think he's going to force his way in, and I think he's going to do it in training camp. But knowing that Ken Holland likes to slow play guys, and that's just kind of his MO throughout his career, I wouldn't be surprised if it takes until the back half of the season for Holloway to make the jump. But I would honestly bet on him making it out of camp. Whether he sticks all year, that's a different question, but I think he'll do enough in camp and in the preseason to stick on opening night.
Cool.
It's interesting that we're not really talking a lot about the rookie camp because it doesn't have a big name in there, but we are seeing the product of a little bit more construction behind the scenes and a little bit more time and attention paid to, giving guys the right amount of time with this year's Oilers rookie camp, because we're dominating, are we not?
Yeah, I mean, like it's like you said, Locke, there's no sexy prospects like when it was the Hall, the Nuge, the Yakupov, and then a McDavid. It's not like that anymore. But for Oilers fans, there was some quality prospects to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And those prospects performed well at this rookie tournament. And I think that for, a guy like Reed Schaefer, they just drafted him a little while ago. He picked up, he was scoring in that tournament too. So it's just nice to see that there's players with some skill being added to the depth chart. And it's going to take some time for them to arrive and get there. But for Oilers fans that like prospects and like following along with what's coming, the tournament is still a great showcase for what the depth chart looks like.
And of course, we have to give a shout out to Ryan Smyth, Captain Canada,
baby.
Going into the newly established Oilers Hall of Fame.
Was there any other option as part of the first class? Like Smith and Lee Fogolin makes perfect sense to me. I was wondering I was just wondering who the second person was going to be. It was always, to me, Ryan Smyth and who. For me, it's just no brainer. Ryan Smyth, he was the Oilers for a very long time. The community loved him, still do. Bleeds copper and blue. All of the cliches and metaphors about being an Oiler. Ryan Smyth is the personification of all of them.
Absolutely. That's a good way to end. Thank you for your time, Baggedmilk.
Thank you, as always.
The Locker Room.
Brought to you by Always Plumbing and Heating.
Weekday mornings on 95.7 Cruise FM.